Hello everyone, welcome to the project The Guide. The problem statement of this project is this is a multi-text analyzing Django application which can be used as an instant grammar corrector. Apart from this usual spell check, this application is also powered by deleting unwanted spaces and also count number of characters and delete occurrence of stuff. And it can even generate a summary of a given word by the user. So as we have made application, we need to add more features, right? So this is the reason we have packed the project with all the available features in Python. These are the available features of this application. Remove punctuation, spell check, line and space, count characters, remove stop words, paragraph, generate given. So these are the available features of this, and the tech stack involved in this project is Django and Python. And I will show you some sample input and output of this. Now you can see that on the right side you can see the options that are available, so that whenever user can trigger one of the options, so that the output will be processed and give us an analyzed text. So this is how the interface looks. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to the project The Guide. So basically we are going to build a Django application. So let us divide this project into two sections. In the first stage we will be understanding the Django in detail, and let us see how to create a Django application and render some sample text in the browser. And in the second section let us see how to use Python strings and apply to the Django project. So whenever user enters a text, we can modify the text or we can make changes to the text and give as an output to the user. So let us create a folder in our directory to create a Django project in that. So we'll use mkdir to create a folder and we'll name it as the guide. So after creating, cd the folder which we have created, and now let us install Django in the directory. As I installed before, you can see that it shows requirement already satisfied. Now let us create a Django project. So to create a project, we need to write Django admin start project and name the project as the guide. As we created a project named the guide using Django, it created few files with it. Now let us see the functionalities of the each file. So let us start by seeing the settings.py. So we use to modify changes and also helps us to see the error log whenever the application causes error. So we can also see the error log by changing this debug equals to true while to see the errors, but we need to make sure while we are deploying this application we need to make it to false. So basically debug in the settings.py acts as an error log. We can see where the application went wrong, and whereas if we see this allowed host, while deploying the project, we should allow all the hosts so that our application can deploy. So we need to make sure while we are hosting the website, we need to make it star. And we can also access files through settings.py. So we need to give the path like such as in templates dictionary. We can also give the dirs. So where is the directory of the templates folder? And there are many things like media content. So whenever we handle stuff like media images, we need to pass some media syntax so that whenever it encounters any media files, it navigates through the path given in the settings.py. So before more diving to the urls.py, let us see the architecture behind Django, that is known as MVT. Now let us see the outline about MVT architecture, that is well known as models, views and templates. So whenever user tries to fetch data or give some input to the website, what does the Django do? Django sends the request to the URLs. So URLs maps the request to the views and search for the function in the views. And views will use the models and templates to get the data and show the feed for the user. So the triangular relation between models, views and templates is known as MVT. And in the template section, we will be using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but we will be also using DTL, that is known as Django Template Language. So we can also write our Python logics inside the HTML files by using DTL. So what happens in our case is, whenever user tries to give some input text to the website, Django sends the request to the URLs and URLs maps the right function to the views. For example, let us see when user gives a word to capitalize. So what Django does is Django sends to URLs. Then URL search for a function which can do job for the text to be capitalized. So there will be a function in views which can capitalize the letter. So URLs maps the function in the views and it sends them, and views will send a request to the templates, and the templates will show the feed to the user. Now that we understood the backend process and the files required for creating a Django project, let us add the files which are missing. As you can see that we need URLs, views, models and templates. So models are like not needed as of now because we are not dealing with any databases. So let us see only URLs, views and templates. So as we have URLs, let us create a templates and views.py files. So to create a views.py, create a new file and write it as .py. And as we need a directory of templates, so we need to create a folder rather creating a file. So let us create a folder called templates. So templates will be having index.html. So let us create a index.html. You can see that. And now let us add the code in views.py, and the same time we'll add the URL to the views.py. So as you understood that the function which we wrote in views.py should be there in URL so that the requests which have been sent by the Django will be done. So let us start by importing the modules required for views.py. So as we will be rendering the output, we need render as an import module. So after that, let us create a function. Whenever user tries to reload or opens the website, it renders the index.html. So to create that, we'll create a function def index and response. So whenever user tries to give some request, it will give the index.html file as an output. So as I told you, we should create an index.html. Let us add some code to it. If we are using Visual Studio, type $mark and enter. So it will auto generate a HTML standard code, and in the body let us write hello. So now whenever user tries to open the website, and this HTML file is going to be rendered as we wrote in the views.py. Now as we added a function in views, let us add the function in URLs also. So whenever user tries to send a request, it will map the right function in the views. So to be access all the views functions in the URLs, we will be using from .import views. Now let us add the part of the particular function which we have created. So to add that, we will be writing path and semicolon, and as the function is in views, we will be writing views dot index as the function name, comma name equals to index. So basically we are saying that in the views file there is an index function and the name of the function is also index. So if you see that the function name is index, that's the reason we wrote in the URLs. Now it is all set to run the server. To run the server we will be using manage.py. You can also see that it gave the output as hello. So this is how you render some sample text. Let us understand more about this project, seeing the operations that we are going to perform for a string given as an input. So let's start from removing punctuations. So basically we are going to use string module by Python to apply the punctuations for the input string. And next is a spell checker. We will be using text block module by Python to identify words which are wrongly written. And then let us see how to remove line and space removal. So here we are going to use strip function and remove the extra spaces, and then we will be using a loop to remove the new lines and concat them. And now let us see how are we going to count the characters. We will be splitting the each text by using split function, and we'll count number of characters in it. And next is how are we going to remove the stop. So we will be using NLTK package provided by Python, which has a great collection of stop words. So but we will be comparing the words which are in the package and the input string, and we'll be removing them. Now let us see how are we going to convert the given input string to lower and uppercase. We will be using dot upper and dot lower to convert. Now let us see how are we generating the summary of a given word. So we will be using Wikipedia model which can generate a summary of a given word. So this is the operations that we are going to perform for our website. Now let's start coding the each operation in the Colab notebook which we are going to now. If we are using Visual Studio, type exclamation mark and enter. So it will auto generate a HTML standard code, and in the body let us write hello. So now whenever user tries to open the website, and this HTML file is going to be rendered as we wrote in the views.py. Now as we added a function in views, let us add the function in URLs also. So whenever user tries to send a request, it will map the right function in the views. So to be access all the views functions in the URLs, we will be using from dot import views. Now let us add the part of the particular function which we have created. So to add that, we will be writing path and semicolon, and as the function is in views, we will be writing views dot index as the function name, comma name equals to index. So basically we are saying that in the views file there is the index function, and the name of the function is also index. So if you see that the function name is index, that's the reason we wrote in the URLs. Now it is all set to run the server. To run the server, we will be using manage.py. Now let us run the server by opening the terminal. To run the server, we need to be accessed the manage.py. Let us see whether manage.py is in the same directory. As we are inside the guide folder, we need to come out from it. So type cd dot dot. So we will be getting outside the guide, and let us go to python manage.py. Now let us write the code for the string operations that we have performed before. So let's get started by importing the required modules. Now let's get started by writing the first function, that is remove punctuations. So here we will be using string.punctuation module provided by Python. So let's write a example text so that we can remove punctuations from it. So let us write, hey, how are you? So here you can see that we have used three punctuations. So let us remove this punctuations from the given text. So to do that, let us write a command which has all combinations of punctuations which we use in our daily life. So print punctuation. So let us print, and you can see that this has this string contains all the all the punctuations that we have in the language. Whenever we encounter any of this character in the given string, we need to eliminate that. So let us start by writing a variable so which stores the modified output. So let us write for I in a, which stores the a as the variable. So whenever if I encounter that, we need to remove, right? So let's write I not in string dot punctuation. So the reason we wrote not is whenever you encounter that, please remove that. So like that. Now let us so when we will be eliminating i's, right? So we need to concat and get a new string. So that's the reason we have created a variable res. Let us print res. Now you can see that it said, hey, how are you, without any punctuations. So this is how you remove punctuations from a given text or a given paragraph. So now let us write the code for how to remove, how to get a correct spelling. If user given a wrong spelling, it should be corrected. So here we are going to use text blob. So for example, let us write misspelled spelling. So for example, good, we will be writing good do. Now let us create a object of text blob. So text blob is one which we are going to use for correcting the misspelled words. So we need to convert the given string to text blob object, and then we need to pass it. Text blob has an attribute which can do this. So we need to write correct and pass a variable. So b dot correct. So b is the object of text blob a, so it will be resulting good. I can see that it resulted good, but as it is single word we are able to do. What if there is a big sentence or number of, like, if you imagine there are 3 sentences, how are you going to do? So here we will be introducing a new concept called split. So let us write another string which is a good to read. So here we wrote a big sentence. Now we need to identify which words are misspelled and which are not. So that is also a task where we need to give an if condition whenever it corrected. So in TextBlob we have two features. So here it is good, so here you can see that good has been misspelled, so it gave good. So what if we give the given word is good? See, it also gives the same word, right? So we need to make sure whenever when we give it, like, if you pass a correct variable and you're asking again correct, it will be resulting the same variable as the same. Now let us write the code for it. So again, I told you we will be using split. So let us make it, a array by using a dot split. We need to pass a parameter here. So it will be finding a, whenever it encounters a space in this given given string, it will be passing, it will be converting to each content like an array elements in an array. Let us print this and I'll show. Now you can see that, hey, I am good, so it has been converted to each word is an each indexed element in the array. So this is how you convert. Now we need to pass in a for loop as each element. So for I in, now the condition we need to give is, if we encounter same, before that we need to convert to a blob object, right? So b equals to text blob of I, and now we need to pass that to sc equals to str of p dot correct. So now you can see that basically if you pass the element, it will create a text blob object and we will be identifying whether it's correct if it will change c. So how are we going to identify whether it is, like, here in this case good will be changed to good, but how are you going to replace in the main text? We will be using one if statement and one replace. So if c is not equal to I, only replace that. So whenever c got changed, I will be different, right? So now we will be using replace function. So replace is used to replace a particular portion of the string. So we'll be writing a dot replace I comma c. So I is the replaced string and c is the modified string. Now let us print a. Now you can see that it gave the fully correct spelling the word. The misspelled word has been corrected here. So this is how you write the code for spell check. Now let us write the code for removing next line in the given. For example, if user gives a paragraph of 5 lines, how are we going to convert into one single line? So let me explain you what is that. See, I am if you print a, now you can see that it gave one separate line and another separate. So how it made two lines? The reason is it uses slash n. So as we have done in punctuations, we are going to write the almost same code, but whereas in punctuations we have used this imported libraries, but we're only going to find whenever slash n is identified, we are going to remove that. So let us write a for loop. So for I in a, see whenever if not of I equals to slash n, replace rs equals to rs plus I. So same as before, so we need to concat, right? So whenever you identify I is not, I mean if I is equals to slash n, I mean escape that case and print other cases. So this is how you do. Now let us print I. Now you can see that I am good, I am better. So this is how you do. If you want to make a space in between, let us just add space. I can see that I am good, I am better. So this is how you replace a, I mean to convert a big sentence to one line sentence. Now let us write the code for removing unwanted spaces in the given text. So let us again initialize a string. I am good and I am also good, compete with you. So imagine this is a sentence. So now what are we going to do is, see, this is the input sentence, right? So our problem statement is basically to, I mean, remove unwanted spaces. So let us create some unwanted spaces here. We have given 3 spaces, given 2 spaces, like our aim is to remove that. Let us run this. So now we are going to introduce two new concepts, enumerate and strip. So what is enumerate is, while until now we are doing only one, for I in a, what will happen? Print I. We are going to get IAM, that's it, right? Now if you want to access both the index and the character, we will be using enumerate. So here we are going to introduce enumerate. So index comma char and in enumerate of a dot strip. This is the new one. So what a is going to do is a has the content, right? So dot strip helps us to divide into index and character and that. Let us see what is the print, what it will print. I can see that it printed index and the string, I mean what is the present string at the particular position. Now our aim is to remove the unwanted spaces, right? So why are we doing this? So array, like, as we need to know the second most character at the present stage. So if you are at position A at time instant t, we are going to find at position B at time instant t plus 1. So you need to access the particular index and the next index also. So let us keep a if statement. If not, a of index is equals to space and a of index plus 1 is equals to space. So we are saying that if you find a is space and a of index plus 1 is also space, that is in this case. You see at 23rd position you find it as space, and then you found another space in 24th. So we are going to eliminate those conditions and add the characters in that. So again I initialize a variable which can concat and res equals to res plus char. So this is why I'm using enumerate. So I need now the character, right? I don't need the index position of the particular string. Let us print the res. Sorry, I forgot to keep. hyphen. Now you can see that I am good by and I'm also good to compute. I have removed the external spaces which have been added by default. So this is how you remove the unwanted spaces. Now we came to the last. Now let us write the code to remove the stop words of a given function. I mean, user gives a big statement. Who wants to read the unwanted words? We only want to read the main content, right? So we will be using NLTK package which contains a great collection of stop words. But as we are deploying our model, I mean Django website, we have space constraint. So to overcome that, I have copied all the stop words in the NLTK package and made a set. So we will be using that. These are the stop words available in the NLTK package. So now let us eliminate the stop words whenever you find in the input string. So let us write an input string as I am Raj between tell me about your. So you can clearly see that we have used stop words everywhere. I am tell me is not a stop word, sorry, about yourself. So now you can see that we need to eliminate about yourself I am in the given input text. So how are we going to do this? So again we'll be using split and we'll be comparing each character in the stop words set. So basically what I'm saying is when you iterate each character you need to find whether I is there in this list and am is there in this list by using in operator. So as I again told you, we'll be using split because of the multi-word line. So sc equals to a dot split. So what happens here is we'll be going to divide each word as an element in the array. Let us iterate through s. Now what happens if we need to find whether if there is a match or not, right? So if I not in stop words, so rather finding if there is a match, we need to find rather if there is no match, print that word. So to concat that, we'll again use res and concat the statement. So res equals to res plus I. So whenever you encounter a non-stop word, it will print and it will store in res and it will be concated every time. So let us print this. Now I can see that it told Yuvraj tell is the main word. If you want to add space in between, you can just do it so that whenever the output is going to get good. So Yuvraj tell is the output from the A is the I am Yuvraj between tell yourself. Now let us write the code for generating a summary of a particular word. So here we are going to use Wikipedia module. So let us give an input as Apple Inc. User wants to know about Apple Inc. company. How are we going to generate a summary about that? So we are going to use Wikipedia dot summary. So dot summary has an attribute of two things that is known as input and number of sentences you want in the output. So let us write for instance 2. So now let us print this for print res. I can see that it's going to give about Apple Inc. is an American multinational. Yeah, this is the summary about the particular word Apple Inc. Now what if user wants to generate any other word other than this? There are cases if A is Apple and if you generate few sentences about that, what are you going to get the output? So print this. In this case you got in mathematics computer science like it's saying that some other concept related to Apple, but this is what you want, right? So you need to write another attribute of Wikipedia which is known as dot search. Wikipedia dot search of a particular word comma number of research results you want, so you can give as much you want. So in this case we will be giving 5. Let us print So what is happening is, when we pass variable apple, we are going to search in Wikipedia what are the related words related to Wikipedia. I mean, yeah, like this. So there is Apple. So here you can see that Apple Inc. and iPhone, and see, as we have told Apple is a famous company, right? So it told iPhone and iOS. So this is how you find the keywords and get the best match for the user. So this is it. Now let us write the code in views.py for applying this all functions. So whenever URL tries to request a particular function, views.py is going to trigger a correct function and give us the output. So let us write the code for views.py. Now let us write the code for views.py. So before writing the function, we just give some clarity. So basically, checkbox works on a state where on and off. So initially, all the switches will be on off, right? So we will be creating the function fguide, and we will be naming all the names data. I mean, for example, you can see the label which, for example, lowercase, we kept a name as lower. So we'll be creating all the variables, and we'll be at the initial state we'll be keeping off. So whenever one of the buttons are triggered, it will be on, and we're going to check the functions which have been on, and we are going to process the data. I mean, we're going to send the data through the on functions, and we will be modifying the text. And at the last, you can see that action been by the function guide. So let us make a function with the on and off button. You can see that I have wrote a function called guide, and basically what happens here is, whenever if you give remove p, so it is going to request dot post dot get. What is this is basically, it's going to get data from the index.html where name is pun and off. So when it's in off state, we are going to get the data. Whenever it's triggered, it's going to send the, I mean, it's going to give the data as on and remove punc. So let us see this word and control F and see that remove punctuations have been named under remove punch. Yes, like this is how you name the text. I mean, this is the one which you are going to get the text data. I mean, where is going to give the text to process it. So this is where I gave a name for this. So I gave it the name as text. Now this the text area is given name as text, so I kept as request.post.get text. The buttons are over. Now let us write the function. So you can see the function, like, I mean, we need to write stp is equals to on. So this is how we are going to keep some all the if statements for all the available functions. So for remove p, right, like third and on. So like this we will be writing, and as we wrote the code before, we are going to just paste it here at a particular function. Let me paste those functions to explain you one. Now you can see that I have filled all the if statements with the code which we wrote before with some modification. So let us go by one. So first thing is remove p. So remove p is basically punctuation. So whenever user clicks on, I mean, in the let me show you. So here, whenever remove p punctuations have been clicked blue, it states that we are going to on that particular function. So on is going to send as a request post data to the code, and this is what is going to. So after receiving the post data, the if conditions that which we wrote will be checking whether the function is triggered or not. If in case it's triggered, it will be going inside this if block. So what is DJ text is? Basically, DJ text is one which variable holds the text entered by the user. So that is, we are also going to post, we're going to get the data from that. So here we're going to get the data from the text data, right? So that's the reason I wrote default, but others we wrote off. That is the reason because it's a checkbox button. Now after writing this, you can see for remove punctuations, as I told you before, we will be using this for loop and things. But the thing which would be noted is, as it's a checkbox, user can click multiple buttons, right? So we will be passing one particular function's output to the next output. So you can see that I have passed the DJ text and modified res1. What I'm saying is, if user, let me explain in form of lower and uppercase. If user tries to format the text to uppercase, we have changed it to DJ text dot upper. Now why are we changing DJ text to again dot upper and passing to lower C? So what have the reason which I told you is because if you see the UI, for example, if user clicks line remove extra space and upper and lower case, if he clicks all the buttons, so we are also going to modify each one, not separately, right? We are going to merge the text and pass one by one. So that's the reason I have passed the one function's output to the next one. And what is this params? Params is basically we are going to send the output data through res1. So this is the output which we are going to pass, and we'll be writing output.html where we are going to render this output res1. Now, so this is the function for remove punctuation. So at the finally after this if condition is done, we're going to write DJ text equals to res1, which holds the present remove punctuations output. Now later, if this, for example, remove punctuation and uppercase have been clicked, what is the output? First, we'll be removing all the punctuations, and then we'll be we'll be going to convert the text to upper. That's the reason at the end of the every if condition, we're going to modify the DJ text to the not the original. We're going to modify to the function which have been modified text. So this is the function which we have discussed before, and I just wrote the code. Now, at last, I have created a return statement which is punk.html. So the reason I kept this because after writing this all the outputs, we're going to pass params which contains the output, right? So we need to display this output in the output HTML. So I named that output HTML as punctuations.html for name. It's of name. It's your sake. You can keep any name. Let us write the code for punch.html. Now, if you see that I've created punc.html which contains the output. So I've copied the index.html code and has just replaced the text area and the buttons with the output screen. So let me explain you detail. So until here you can see that it's the navigation bar and that CSS. Now you can see that here I've created a text area where user can see the output. And if you see this UILI tags, basically this contains as a drop down menus in the navigation bar. So whenever user completes the seeing the output, he can click the home button and go to the main page. So href dot slash says that I've created a button in the navigation bar, so whenever user tries to click that, he will be redirected to the main page. That let us see the output. So I've again created a container, and this time I've just passed the name variable and the string. So what happens here is the name contains the output and string contains the modified string. So as I created in views.py, I'm going to pass the output as params, name and string. So that's the reason at every output I wrote params. So name is the function which we have done and string is the output. So string, that's the reason in index.html, punc.html, I've created this this brackets and I wrote name. So name data will be posted here and string data will be posted here. Now let's run the server and see the outputs that we have made until now. Before running the server, let us add our function guide in the urls.py. So whenever the user clicks the right button, we will be accessing the urls.py's guide function and we are going to map the correct output. Now let us write the function guide here, save the. Now let us run the server. Python manage.py. Now let us see the output. So you can see that this is the final output. Let us test with some sample inputs. Let's say so let us keep the text to uppercase, and you can see that it worked in uppercase. Now let us give a misspelled word as we tested in the as we tested before. Spell check. So now you can see that it gave good as the corrected output. Now this is how you modify strings and get things out. You can see let us now once check remove punctuation. Uh, let us make let us see what is out. You can see that it removed all the punctuation. So this is how you make a Django website which contains string operations. Now, before wrapping this session, let us deploy this application in the Python Anywhere website. So let's get started with the deployment. Now let us deploy our application in Python Anywhere website. So the requirements basically are we need to have a Python Anywhere account, and the project that we have made should be zipped in a file. Let us create an account here and get started. So after creating, you can see a pop-up stating this end tour. So click on the end tour and let us get started by creating a new bash console, or you can go to consoles option and click on bash. Make sure you parallelly open this Python Anywhere help desk where we'll give some steps to create our project and deploy our project. So we need to create a virtual environment and we need to install Python. So basically this is known as virtual machine. So in this virtual machine there will be nothing will be installed. So we need to install Python, Django and required modules. So let us install and keep the test environment test. So you create a virtual environment now, and we have also installed 3.7 Python inside this bash console because the present Python which I am using is 3. After installing this, we need to unzip the file which we need to upload now. So you can click on files. You can click on files and click on upload file and locate your file which you have unzipped. Zipped file, sorry. And you need to upload that file. So here you can see that I have uploaded my zipped file. Now again go to the bash console and wait until the virtual environment is created. Now you can see that it created the virtual environment. Now let us install Django. So after installing Django, we need to install required modules such as while creating our text app, we used few modules right in Python. We need to install them. For example, we have used Wikipedia and text blob. So let us install the Wikipedia module inside the bash console. So to install Wikipedia module, we will be writing pip install Wikipedia. I'll show you one by one. So it will take time and depends on your internet connection. Now that the Django has been installed, let us install Wikipedia. So you need to make sure that you have installed all the required modules inside the bash console, or else you may face few issues. Now after this, go to the web, and you can add a new web app and click on next and click on manual configuration and say as Python version 3.7. Click on next. And now again go to the console that we have used before. And you can now again install the unzip the files which we have wrote now. So unzip the file. In my case, the file name is the guide. So I've unzipped all the files inside the folder. Now again let us go to the web. So here we need to make few changes. So click on the VSGI configuration file. Click on So there will be few comments, so make sure you remove everything. Go to the the tips which the instructions given by Python Anywhere as we are deploying a Django project. So copy this text which contains the VSGI file of this virtual. Now we need to make few changes. Like in the username, in my case, it will be the guide. So it depends on the username which you choose. So after that, keep your my site as the app name. So let us keep the app name as I kept the same name. Now also make sure you change this my site dot settings and and hit save. Now go to files and locate your settings.py, and you need to change few settings here, such as here while we are writing the code in our not in production deployment, we need to make it as false. So the reason which we make it like make the debug as false is as we are in the production, so people can see the code and make the clone of it. So this is the reason we need to write debug equals to false. The most important thing that to be noted is allowed host. So while in the first video I've told that we need to keep in the allowed section we need to keep star. The reason is while this Python Enver tries to host our application, it needs the permission of settings.py. And the another thing which to be noted is as we have wrote the directory's name as templates, but as this is a virtual machine, it can't locate the correct the templates folder. So we need to again go to the files and copy the path of the templates folder. So let us go to files, get the templates folder. So here you can see the templates and copy the path, paste in the settings.py, enclose with the double quotes, save this file. Now go back, go to the web, and and you should reload this whenever you make any changes to your app. The final step that is required to deploy our application is locate our virtual environment. As I created the virtual environment as test, so click on this and click enter. So it will automatically finds the virtual environment which we have created. So again, as I told you, reload this application when any change. Reload this change and this configuration of the guide.python anywhere is that. So let us click this and see the output. You can see that our website has been deployed successfully. And if you are facing any difficulties while deploying our project, make sure you install all the modules such as Wikipedia, text blob, and everything which you have. I'll give you a list of modules that will be in requirements.txt in the folder which you have created the code. So make sure to install all the modules and deploy. You may cause few errors while deployment. So make sure you also see the instructions given by Python Anywhere website. Now let us test our application as deployed. So again let us test by application giving just given uppercase. So you can see that my name has been displayed in up. So this is how you deploy your application successfully. Now let us wrap up this session by saying you the insights like what you have done so far.